So back to the beginning. This is the first screen. That's the login screen from the Start IPS maintenance system. Okay. Each user on board gonna have your own access. Connect to a specific groups that gonna grant him to make some stuffs in the Start IPS. For example, we can define that the captains and chief engineers can approve the material requisition, and for example, the chief engineer can it will be the only one that can move the maintenance to the history after double check. So, and let the rest of the people with some small tasks and small grants in the system. So that's the first screen. So after they receive the password, they can just type and log in. So as I explained before, this is the dashboard. That can be customized as well. So if you guys say, no, that's not the best information would like to give them, you can customize this dashboard as well, and put here the information and calculations you guys would like to see. Okay. Here's just overview about the stock maintenance and certificates and material requisitions. So you guys can quickly see where you guys should attack on board. So that means for the audit or a normal weekly routine. So you can just, okay, so that's all maintenance overdue jobs I have. So from here, I can make my planning to the week or to the month and so on. So the IPS is split in three parts. The grid and dashboard. So you can just switch grid and dashboard from here, from that button. The model part, where you can see all modules. That's mean work planning with all sub-models inside. The vessel itself with all equipment inside. Material and service with all spare parts, consumables and provisions, service and tools, and the transactions. Okay, all these modules have an internal subgroups where we're gonna see during this training, and you're gonna cover all steps people on board need to go to keep the vessel up and running, and all routines updated according to the maintenance requirements.
Perfect.
In the top, we have some smart buttons that can, for example, transaction can give you quick access to transaction history and to create a new transaction as well. So the report can, for example, give you a direct access to the model reports, and the other buttons that I'm going to show you one by one during the training. And the toolbar, where you can manipulate the information you can find in the grid and apply filters and sorting by A to Z and or Z to A and so on. So in the bottle, we have the user that's connected to the system right now, the time, the dates, how many rows you can see in the screen. So if I turn back to the grid view, you can see that you have 6 rows here. The license and the description of the site we are connected to. Okay, so
You are now connected to the vessel, to the satellite.
Yeah, now I'm connected to the satellite, so that's the reason I can just see my vessel.
Yes.
I don't have access to the other ones as we have from the RUB. Okay, when people connect first time, normally that's the way the system will appear to you guys. So from the off side, you can have many vessels here. We can just disable that. If you go to the view options, and a view tab, you can just unselect vessels and set as default. So you can see in that way. That's, in my opinion, is more cleaning and have a best view from the system from that part. So that training gonna cover. Let me just share the document here. Just hold on.
Sure.
Training.
Fabio, one question.
Okay.
The maintenance structure that we are seeing now, the 0, 1, 2, 3, up until 9, and then T, little T. That structure, it's the one that Norgas was using. Am I correct?
Yeah, actually, that's a standard called SFI structure.
SFI, okay.
Yeah, so of course you can change that, but that's the standard you're gonna find in the most of the companies. That's for a Norwegian company that defined that's groups. So that's the it's too slow, but that's split the vessel in some main groups and go to details. For example, 6, I know that's a machinery main components on board, and so they start to go down to these levels. And for example, I know that the 621 or 601, that's the main engine, and so the whole vessel is split in this SFI group system.
Right.
So I can keep that documentation here, so you can just have you can
Cool.
just read that and see if you guys would like to follow.
Yeah, let me see. Hold on, just I think I got the physical book of that one. Hold on.
Yeah, I guess there's that's more or less how this works. You see, have the group compressor assistance, and so you can have the 731. That's a start assistance, and so you can start to go in details from the start compressor. So yeah, there is a book with all these SFI codes, but here's more explanation how this is organized more or less.
Yeah.
We the guy that found the Cs came from this Spetec company,
Yeah.
and we don't call that SFI for right reasons, but we call that the technical accounts structure. So that's our internal name for that, but
Yes.
that's more or less the same. Okay.
Okay.
So the first, let me share the agenda. Just 1 second. Training. So the first day, we're gonna talk about the system. Okay, IPS review, the quick introduction to the different models. Explain how the Start IPS works, as we call the data groups ownership. So you can, for example, create groups and tell that, for example, create a group, for example, Kongsberg main engine model X1, for example. And so for all vessels that have the same group assigned, going to receive all information you put in this group. So that means I can create a a standard work instruction, schedule jobs, and assign to a group. And all vessels that's connected to this group gonna receive this information in the IPS, like an email group, for more or less. Just a quick comparison. I'm gonna talk about the technical accounts, work planning. So I don't know when you guys are gonna stop to have a lunch break, but just let me know. Okay, and I'm gonna try and make some practical training with you guys as well. So go to that exercise and see if you guys have absorbed the information I'm sharing with you. And probably gonna start to talk about the material and service detailed introduction. And so for that reason, I guess that there's not be enough to talk about all stuffs from IPS, but I'm gonna try cover all the maximum I can today, and maybe use a half of day tomorrow.
Okay.
Because FSM is more simple, so maybe you can do that in one day or maybe a half day.
Right.
Okay. So the first thing you're gonna talk about is the model called technical accounts. That's the SFI structure.
Yes.
Okay. Where you can go, for example, and see all your equipments and all sub equipments and all your connections you have with this equipment as well. So for example, if you go to the starter compressor, we can see all information connected to this technical account 731-100. For example, all work history, all work orders open, all shadow jobs, all counters, all spare parts connect to these equipments. Okay. We can use what we call in the grid as a filter. Okay. For each column, we have we can filter and find the information. So for you guys that probably don't know this SFI structure 100%, so what I'm gonna teach you guys now is how to use the filter to find, for example, equipment that you have no clue where he's located here inside all these technical accounts and groups. Okay, so as you can see, when I click in these groups, the grid will automatically show me up the first subgroup behind or below this first group. So that means if I go to the one group below that, you're gonna show me in the grid all the subgroups below this group I clicked on. So that's not help us too much, because if you're gonna use the filters, we should go to and at least see the all equipments and groups here to be able to filter and find information we'd like to see. So the first tip to use the Star IPS is click in the main group. That's the vessel itself. So you're gonna see all equipments in the first level below this vessel. And you have a button in the toolbar called look into subfolder on off, where you're gonna open all groups and subgroups and equipments and sub-equipments. See?
Yes.
And so from that point, you can start to use the filters to look at specific information about the equipment and so on. So for example, I would like to know all equipments start with this word. I can use this wildcard here. That's the percentage as a wildcard. And this is gonna filter all description that starts with this word. Okay. Same from if I do the opposite, use the wildcard in the front and put motor, for example. I can filter all description that end with this word motor. Okay. And if I use in both sides, in the end, in the beginning and the end of the description, doesn't matter where this word is located, the system will filter and bring that information to you. Okay. Until now, that's okay for you guys? That's simple?
Yeah. That's cool. That's good.
Yeah, if you guys feel that's too basic to you, just let me know. I can just try go a little bit away from that. But I think so that's important because from my experience, when I start to talk about the filtering of information in StarAPS, people that have never seen people that have never got a training before, they start, oh my God, why I didn't learn that before? That you'd help me a lot. So that's the reason we force this training and to cover that filtering as well, because this can be used in the all other models in the system in the same way.
Yeah, that's
so
nice.
That's the reason.
That's perfect.
Yep.
Nice.
So from that example, I just filtered from the motor and I use the wildcard from both sides. So it doesn't matter if that's the beginning or the end of the description or in the middle. This will gonna bring all equipment to you in the grid. So below here, I can see that I have a 166 rows that showed up after this filtering. I can also use more. For example, I can use more than one filter at the same time. For example, so all motors I filter where the models start with 160. So okay, here I found my information. Okay, I was looking for this equipment. If I double click here, it will automatically show me the equipment in the structure in the left side. Okay. Okay, I would like to find another equipment now. I can just clean up the filter. Okay, and apply one more time to look into the subfolder on off. As I'm clicking this level, and there is no more level below that, so I cannot see much information. So I have to back to Leonardo B, and so I can see all equipment as well. If I know, for example, that the equipment I'm looking for is inside the machinery main components, I can just click in the group 6, for example, and start my filtering from here as well. Okay. If, for example, I'd like to know all equipment that has a DNV tag, I can go, for example, to the reference and put DNV, and that will show me up all equipments that's are class related. For that version 353, we can have also this flag, but as this is a test environment and probably Singapore has some other task to fix, so it's not set yet. But yeah, you can use the reference to filter what kind of equipment are class related or not in the system.
Right. This is not the live database, correct? This is environment.
Yeah, because that's a copy he made from Norguys. The copy was the version 321, but they upgrade to 353.
Okay.
And one of the cleanups you used to make after bring that to the 353 is check all the DNV class here and also update here as yes. So in the filter, you don't need make a filter from here. You can just go here and see all class related, and they're gonna show you all the same items. Okay. So you have many other kind of filters you can make here in this part. For example, check all criticality. For example, they have some critical to safety equipments and equipment critical. But you can also include, for example, I have some companies that include criticality called critical to environment and critical to operation. So that's something you guys can set up afterwards and update the equipments. Okay.
Puedes seleccionar las dos, o sea, safety opinion and physical opinion.
It will be just 1 second, Fabio. It's any value, cualquiera.
Cualquiera, pero ahí en blanco, si quisieras only critical.
Only critical is
O sea, for example, safety critical and equipment critical.
Sería any, cualquiera de los dos. Los dos.
Ya, pero ahí aparecen los que están en blanco también. Por ejemplo.
Claro. Not, o si no, que no estén not empty. Lo que están.
Yeah, in this case, you're gonna select all criticality and remove the empty ones.
Okay.
Okay. And this can be in the model common codes. You have technical use. No, sorry, general use. Oh no, you don't have grant from here. Technical criticality codes.
Okay.
You can afterwards. You can remove that one if you want. You can. Yeah, you cannot perform that from the vessel, but from the offside you can just create more or maybe rename that to other kind of name you would like to see, and so on. So you can create and update these codes in the configuration. Okay, you can also, when you filter, for example, for the NV, you can make a sorting using this select the column and sorting from A to Z or Z to A. Okay, you can move some information like Excel, for example, to the front because of we have installed what you call the quick print preview. So I can make some filters and I click with right button. In the grid and just print preview item. Yeah, that's not set yet, but that's gonna give you a preview. Okay. I'm gonna show you the information you can see in the grid, so people can quickly make a report from that point. You see, that's not beautiful, but that's practical. If something, if the class society goes on board and need a quick report, and people doesn't know how to take this information out from the report model, he can just grab that from the grid as well, and the guide to the surveyor. So you see all the columns I moved to the beginning of the grid. So I'm gonna show you here. So you can try to fit that a little bit more to remove this information from the print preview and so on. And if you click again, if you right click and I click in show you all columns, that's will back from the scratch. Okay?
Okay.
¿Cómo es la lista previa?
Lista previa para ver ese reporte. How can you print preview list?
Print preview list.
Right button.
Yeah, if I
grid. It doesn't matter where you click here, but you can just print preview list.
Okay. And you can export this list?
Yeah, you
For example.
You can send that to Excel as well. Just 1 second. No, sorry. For this one, you cannot do like this.
Okay.
This is only like a PDF. But you, for example, if you filter from DNV here, you can open the Excel.
Okay.
And you have you can click here in this gray bar, for example, and press Shift to select a range. And from the ID column, you can just click, hold, go to Excel.
Oh, nice.
And drop.
Yeah.
So from here, you can just create your own filters and make what you would like to do. Yeah. This is a cool feature, but if you guys, I don't know, you guys use the Citrix platform in the office?
A what?
Citrix.
Citrix for remote connection?
Yeah.
No. We use we are only using TeamViewer and remote desktop connection for users in the office and remote users in the office.
Okay, good. Because to be able to do that, you have to you need to have the FSM, sorry, the IPS and the Excel in the same server.
Oh yes.
So that's yeah. You have some that.
We usually install the office in all the equipment on board and in the office.
And you can do that for in the all models. Let's for example jump to spare parts, for example. You can do the same from the spare part as well. So in all models you can drag and drop in Excel, and so from here you can just make your reports, your own reports, and so on.
Nice.
Okay. So back into the equipments. Okay. So that's it's the way we manipulate that's what we call the grid manipulation. So that's apply the filters, the filter sorting from some columns, create some print previews. So this is the basic information you can have to start to use the system. Okay, just remember that if you click on equipment here, I have some filter applying. Sorry, just clean the filter. If you click in the equipment with this button pressed, you only gonna see below only equipments, not the connections. So if I remove that now, I can see all connections. So I can see from here that I have these scheduled jobs, this spare part, and these work histories connect to this equipment. Okay, I can just open from here if I want. Here, for example, I have my main engine, and I have 1,000 information here. I have tools connected. I have consumables. I have spare parts. I have histories. And if I'd like to see a specific information, I can just click to the equipment, go to the view options, and we have here in the filtering, we have you can select all information I would like to remove from the grid. Okay, so if I select all, that's gonna hidden all these kind of connections. And for example, I'd like to see only scheduled jobs and spare parts. So I'm gonna apply. And now I have less information in the grid. So now I can see that this main engine 601, I have this vibration analogy, vibration monitoring schedule job, and have some spares as well. I know I would like to see all history for this equipment. Back to the option, I can hidden spare and schedule jobs as well, and I just uncheck the histories. Okay.
Flavio, can you show us a view where just to know what the meaning of each icon? I know, I understand that the little screw means that's a spare part or a part, correct?
Yep.
I would like to know what the other icons within the structure, the SFI structure means.
You can find
Icon behind. Oh yeah.
Have it here somewhere. Standard. Good question. Menu. Distribution.
List of icons? No.
Nah. We have that here in the guide somewhere.
Right, yeah.
That's like here. So if I go to the
that's
spare part,
purpose materials.
that is screw, warehouse, so you can have all icons from here.
Right.
Yeah. Even the main ones and the item, the sub items one, so you can have access from here.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So that's the easiest way to find. Actually, that's one of the ways you have to find, for example, with each work history we have for this equipment, or maybe a spare part connect to the equipments. Okay. Okay, same from the all others items in this structure. If you right click in the equipment itself and I click in open, we're gonna see all details from this equipment itself. So here you can change the name, you can change the criticality, you can change the models, the makers, for example. Okay, you can put the part number, serial number. You can put more information about when that was installed, if that's still in the guarantee or not. How many hours this is running a day, because probably this equipment as a main engine has a counter.
Yeah.
I don't know the name in Spanish. Is orímetro or no? Contador?
No, it's running hours. Which one?
Yeah, the running hours. Yeah. So you can have the running hours.
¿Eso le ingresan
From,
siempre? ¿Ahí se ingresa siempre o es en otro lugar?
It's Flavio, is on the counter value. It's and counter date. It's always being updated by the automatically by the software. Or
we can configure that, but that's more or less customized, because you have to check the file, the location of the file,
right.
how the file is more or less set up, if that's from common or semi-common character, so you can try split this information and connect a link with the running hours in IPS. So yes, you have a possibility to put that automatically, but that's not straightforward. Like click, select the file, and you get the information. You have some kind of change you have to make to put that automatically.
Ok, pero ahí ingresas todo, digamos, el jefe de máquinas ingresa a cierto tiempo ahí la información. Ahí hace el update del counter,
So this
counter value.
This will be the exact place where for example, the main engineer working on a specific equipment will enter the values for that equipment. For example, the running hours on that pump.
No, this is only a detailed information from this system, but for put the values, the running hours, they're gonna access from here, new values.
Okay.
That's completely different.
Después podemos ver eso.
We can look at that afterwards when it's time according to your plan.
Okay.
But we will work on that.
No problem.
I understand if you are afraid that people have to go one by one and
Correct.
That's a nightmare. Yeah. But after they update from this button here, the running hours, automatically update all technical accounts, connect to that counter, update the average of days, and so after that, this equipment go in all scheduled jobs connect to this equipment. In this case, it is 60100. Okay, and update accordingly the average.
Okay.
So they're gonna give you a estimation of overdue based on this average per day. Okay. So have more information like general information, location, install date, quantity on board, and the tag. Okay, the tag what you define by default DNV or the class society you have. I don't know. Maybe what's the class society you guys have?
We have both. For example, we have Roberitas. We have what's that? What's the other one? Roberitas. What?
Roberitas, GL,
German Lloyd.
Yeah.
Light register.
But for that vessel specific, you're gonna keep the DNV probably, or you're gonna change to the other American
probably
one.
keep the DNV.
Yeah, I guess the ABS, is the American one.
Right.
Yeah. But if you change that from DNV, you have to recheck and update all tags for all equipments connect to this class from this part of the equipment. Okay.
Yes.
Have more general description. So you can, for example, put all information you'd like to have here instead of the books on board. So how many power horses this motor has, what's the power consumption, any other information that people would like to see directly in the system instead of go to the books and grab from there. Any change I make here, that's will be automatically logged. So that means if I include a maker and try to save that, that's your log when, which vessel, the description, and who has changed something here, and what has been changed. So here it's a maker, so that's the reason there is a star here, and have control about all changes you have in this equipment itself.
Right.
Okay. We have more other information here, but this I'm going to explain afterwards. For example, I can just reset the count values if I change this equipment on board. So that means I'm gonna install a new one, a brand new equipment with no hours, so I can just reset the count value. That will automatically reset all scheduled jobs connected to this equipment itself. Okay, I can make a print preview of this equipment. Okay. I can start on a work order or a new requisition. Okay, connect to this equipment from that window. Okay. So all information from the equipment itself, I can just set up here, and that will be available in the grid for filtering.
Right.
Okay. For the whole extension of this grid. So basically all fields we have there, we have it here in this grid as well. Perfect?
Perfect.
Any question to now?
No, no. So far, this was just a quick review on how to locate equipments and right equipments on the this tree on the SFI tree, and how to use the filter option to find them quickly.
Yep. And have also, you can just click in the vessel itself, open with the right button, open. So we have more information, who is the owner, the class register number, who is the superintendent, who is the purchaser. Okay. What's the default store, the technical information about that vessel. Okay. Vessel groups, so that's same thing right now, but you can see all groups this vessel have access to. So maybe a chemical tank group, or vessels that has this kind of equipment and so on. And all financial accounts that the people on board can select when they create a new requisition. Okay.
Okay.
Here we have something called change operational mode. Have you guys know what that means? People from Singapore explain what it is.
No.
So each scheduled job, we have you can set up different operation modes. So that means I have a filter change, for example, for equipment that according the maker, you have to change every 1,500 hours, or maybe 3 months. But let's suppose that the vessel is laid out right now or in the docking, so you don't need to change that in 3 months.
Right.
You can put that in a little bit more fast, so you can define for all your whole maintenance plan. You can define that you have the main schedule standard, or you can, for example, say that the operational mode from now is docking. So this is gonna deactivate some jobs, or maybe they're gonna change the schedule window, for example. They're gonna put, instead of 3 months, they're gonna say, okay, 6 months, because that's in docking, so the vessel is not in operation. So that's will change your all these 2,212 jobs automatically.
Right.
So now you have only this always active, but you can create, of course, some docking, for example, operation mode as well. So let's just make a quick jump to the work planning, just to show you one example. When I create the scheduled job, I can define here what kind of operational mode he can have. For example, for this one is 1 year. But I can say if that's docking or always active. So I can say that will be maybe 3 months instead. You see? So when you go to the vessel here and change to from regular, for example, to always active, automatically these scheduled jobs you're gonna reschedule to every 3 months. You see? Back to operation. So you're gonna put the regular operation. So these we're gonna be rescheduled to the 1 year maintenance. You see? So you can create how many operation modes you would like to have for this vessel. And you don't need every time go one by one from the maintenance and change that and maybe disable that and so on. So that's a good feature we have in IPS. Okay.
Correct.
So back to here. As you can see, I'm still seeing the grid overview here by a list overview. But if I go here and click in staff front, that's automatically back to the dashboard again. Okay.
Okay.
So that's a simple model, but the idea from here is just you guys know how to filtering and find information. And now once you find the information you need, you can just click 2 times, and so find equipment, right button, and make all changes you need in this equipment. Okay?
Okay.
If you decide to create a new one, for example, I would like to create one more level here. For example, 731.950. I can just select this main group, click in new technical account. So, and a wizard gonna heading you to the steps. So now I'm gonna create it 731.950. Okay. So I'm gonna create as a peer function, because you can create as a equipment account as well. I'm gonna explain that later on. Okay, we can use templates. For example, this is see if I have a start air compressor here. No, oh yeah, say that's compressor. Okay, next, and I can finalize that here. Okay, so I create my own technical account. There is no connections yet. I can just open that and start to change the information I need. Okay. If you go to the file, you have what you call the templates. For example, let's suppose that's a generator or a motor. If you click here, that's you go. If you go to the particular tab, that's you show more or less the fields people would like to know, would like to have for the generators and what generators and motors. Okay, if you go to the sensors, for example, let's you change some particulars for the sensors. Okay, self-test feature and so on. If you go to electrical motor, the same. Okay, or you can just use the general one. That's what's the template here? Generic equipment. Okay, but I actually should have another one here. Why it's not here? Yeah, that's the full template with all this information here. Perfect.
Yes.
Normally this template they are customized, but as you got this database from Norgas, this became with the database, so you can just use one if you want and check if that's fit your needs. Okay.
Okay.
If I decide to delete one of these equipments, I can just right-click and delete. Okay. Normally, when we set up the user grants, we do not allow people on board to create new technical accounts and even to delete ones, the existing ones, because we believe that's something that the people from the technical department onshore should take care about, not the people on board.